Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be hosted by Reece to present our windows, walls, and floors. Marc Bagley, my colleague, and I are going to talk today about some of the challenges that come up with windows, walls, and floors and how to best equip yourselves. Okay, so we are going to start with wall graphics. And if any of you have ever done wall graphics, it can be the most challenging type of application that we do. So there are certain questions you want to make sure you ask your customers so all the proper expectations are met. You want to find out, first of all, what is the texture of the wall? We do have a wall bulletin either online on our website or in our 3M Cosmo app. There are a variety of places that you can find this wall bulletin. It's 5.37, and that will help define the texture of the wall if you're not really certain. A lot of people will say, yeah, I have a level 5 finish on my wall when it's not actually a level 5 finish. So make sure you understand what the texture of the wall is. When the customer is wanting the graphic to be removed, is this going to be a short term or is it going to be a long term? And then how they want it to remove. Are they wanting it to remove like an ultra removable adhesive? Are they wanting it to remove with no residue left behind, or are they okay with some residue left behind? Do you want full coverage or partial coverage? My apologies. My dog's protecting me from the mailman right now. But anyway, so full or partial coverage. And when was the wall painted? You want to make sure you follow the paint manufacturer's recommendations for proper curing of the paint. So make sure you've allowed enough time. You also want to make sure you know what type of paint they used. We're seeing a lot more low VOC paints and no VOC paints, which really cause a lot of difficulty with getting vinyl to adhere to them. And then has a wall test been performed? This is a really important step in the whole process with wall graphics that can really help protect you and make sure that you've made the proper recommendation for that particular wall, because every wall is different. So with low VOC paints, it's basically low VOC and now even no VOC. Really, vinyl, anybody's vinyl does not want to stick to that. So it's really challenging. We do have methods of properly cleaning the wall. And you also want to make sure they haven't put multiple layers of paint on the wall, because that can pose problems, as well as not using a primer before they paint. So this adhesion test kit that we offer, you can purchase this through Reece Supply. This is really a major thing to help you make sure you're using the proper film. There's little mini rolls of our film in this adhesion test kit. You have all the supplies in that kit that you need to perform the test on that particular wall. And also you gain a lot of credibility when you show up at your customer site and you use this kit, because they really understand that you know what you're doing. So this can help you, though, not only select a film that's going to stick to the wall, but it can also help you determine the most cost-effective film for that wall. So there may be 2 or 3 of the vinyls that will stick just fine to the wall, but this will enable you to choose the most cost-effective solution. Another important consideration, there are a lot of products out right now that you can direct print to the film and not have to laminate it. We really feel like laminating it is a better solution. It not only protects your ink, but it's also going to make that surface cleanable. So being able to provide your customers with really super cleanable wall vinyls, especially healthcare, education, people with compromised immune systems, you really need to provide a solution that you're going to be able to wipe down with harsh chemicals and cleansers. So speaking to that, we do have a line of decor overlaminates. It's our 8600 decor overlams that have a texture. This is a nice way to offer an even nicer solution to your customers to, kind of upsell them on bringing just a little more pizzazz to their space. You can provide different textures that kind of give it a custom wall covering or wallpaper look, but it's a vinyl. You're printing onto the vinyl, and then you're laminating it with this textured overlam. And so it's got a little thicker construction. It's going to make the install a little easier, as well as the removal. And you can just pair it with any of our print media. So, and it's also a cleaner install than traditional wall coverings. So it gives you a really nice, sharp, beautiful image, but it's also cleanable.
Can I just make a quick comment on that?
Sure.
You mind jumping back one? To the point of it being a sharper image, when you print directly to a textured surface, that difference in elevation can kind of wobble your lines. You get this kind of fuzzy, distorted outline sometimes. With these laminates, these go on after print, right? So you put, say, IJ180 through your printer or 40C through your printer. You're printing to a super slick, smooth surface. You get a really, really sharp image with really clean lines. Then you put that texture on top. So it gives you that same matte, high-end textured finish that a wallpaper or other direct print products give you, but it gives you the protection of a laminate, and it ends up in a sharper image.
Great point. All right. We also, as I mentioned on Tuesday, we have Green Guard certified products that actually have no PVC in the construction of the film. So non-PVC solutions are becoming a lot more popular for not only environmentally friendly projects, but healthcare and education. So they also have other benefits. They're not going to get brittle over time. They do have a higher tensile strength than PVC, which also makes the film remove a little easier. So two solutions that we use often in textured wall applications are IJ8624, which is actually, it does have PVC in it. 480MC is our PVC-free solution. And so that is the Green Guard certified product. So those are two different solutions that accomplish some similar things, but the 480MC actually installs faster. So it installs at 3 inches per second, where the IJ8624 installs 2 inches per second. That doesn't really sound like a big difference, but when you're doing a huge wall graphic, that makes a really big difference. So, and it's also going to remove a lot more easily, like I said. The other benefit is you're able to utilize 480MC for a lot of different varieties. So you could wrap vehicles with that, do textured walls, do a lot of different applications with that. So by having that removable adhesive that you have with the 480MC, you're actually, allowing yourself not to have to purchase as many different products. So did you want to add anything to that, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's hard whenever a project comes up. You always look for the most cost-effective solutions, right? And I don't think it's out of the realm of saying that 480 it's a premium product, but it's got premium capabilities, and one of those is that removable adhesive. So to Angela's point, if you only use half a roll on a textured wall, you don't have to sit on that roll like you do other textured wall films until the next job comes up. The very next day, you could put it on a vehicle, you could put it on a boat. It will go virtually anywhere, and that's one of the kind of the key advantages of going with 480.
All right, great. Okay, so now we're going to jump to window graphics. And with window graphics, there are also a series of questions that are helpful to ask your customer. First, you want to know, what type of window graphic are they looking for? Do they want it to be opaque, translucent, transparent, perforated, optically clear? We actually have at least 10 different solutions for window graphics. So we're going to talk about some of those today that are really relevant and popular right now. So another thing is interior or exterior. Are they wanting this on the first or second surface? And does your printer have white ink? Maybe they're wanting you to do some sort of white color or some frosted gradation or something like that. So that's helpful to understand. And then will the graphic be removed, or do they not? Are they not concerned about that? And does the installer prefer a wet or dry install? So those are key questions to ask when you have a window opportunity. Window graphics are a very cost-effective solution for short-term communications. We're seeing a lot of that right now. And window graphics account for 25% of store traffic. Right now, it's probably even more than that, I would assume. Ultra removable adhesive solutions really are a good solution for easy removal, changing out frequently, and then make sure the ultra removable also install well in all temperatures. So it's kind of an easy solution. So here are some of the 3M changeable solutions. We have an IJ61 clear. So what you print on the front of it, you're going to be able to see on the back side of the window. You'll be able to see that clear through. And then the translucent on down at the bottom in the middle, you're going to see it's going to have a little bit of a hazy look on the back side. And then the IJ36 opaque is an opaque back with the print on the first side. And then we'll show you examples here. So these are printed examples of all those 3 different solutions we talked about. So the IJ61 clear, you're going to be able to see the same thing, on both sides. It's a clear solution. IJ63 is going to be a little fuzzy, on the back side with the clear print on the front side. And then IJ36 opaque, you're going to see it's going to be gray on the back side. So all of these 3 are easy, affordable, changeable solutions that you can offer on Windows.
Really quick, Angela, we had a question going back to just warranties in general. It was kind of asked around the time of walls. So in terms of warranties, the question was, is removal included in that time window? And if that question was asked in particular walls are not a warranted solution because of all those variables that we mentioned. There is a way to get an MCS warranty for walls, but I would say talk with your local 3M rep about that because it does require some good testing, some good documentation as far as the wall in question. But as a general rule of thumb, just understand that there's really no explicit warranty, kind of a blanket warranty for walls. Outside of walls and just all applications in general, there's basically 3 tiers of warranty. The first is the general warranty, the basic graphics warranty, which is if it arrives at your shop and it's damaged, right, it gets replaced. That's kind of a no-brainer. Then depending on which printers you have, there's either there's a performance guarantee or there's an MCS warranty. The MCS warranty is the top of the line warranty. It's free as long as you have the appropriate printer and things like that. And to get MCS warranted, that's a process that's set up with your local rep, where they basically come in, you talk about best practices for record keeping and job documentation and things like that. But in those cases where you are MCS warranted, where your printer is eligible, you've gotten certified by your local rep, removal is warranted in response to what the product bulletin says. So if it says there's a chance it could leave X amount of adhesive behind, and it's more than that, then that would be a warrantable claim if you're MCS warranted. So we could spend an hour on warranties. There's a lot of information, but if you have any further questions, I'll put my phone number in the chat here, and feel free to reach out. We can take a kind of a deeper dive into it.
Awesome. Great question. Okay, so for floor graphics, we have a series of questions for that too. You want to ask what the how long they're wanting the graphic on the floor, if it's an interior or exterior application, is their floor sealed, unsealed, or carpet? And then what type of traffic are they going to get? Is it going to be really super heavy traffic or just moderate? And then multiple panels. And you want to make sure you use a lot of careful consideration on the design of your floor graphic. So as you
I don't mean to interrupt again. I hadn't scrolled up in the chat. Do you mind jumping back to Windows? We just had 2 questions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So first we had a question, is the IJ36 mounted second surface? So in this type of application, yes, that would be a second surface type application because it does have that gray adhesive. So if you mounted it, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It is mounted first surface. If it was mounted second surface, which would be on, say, the interior side of that, right, the lobby side of it, what you would see from the outside of that building is that gray adhesive. So for the 36, because it has that gray adhesive, it does need to be applied first surface to get that kind of look you see in the picture.
Yeah.
And then we had a question, what is the difference between first surface and second surface? So first surface, if you're looking at, again, look at the IJ36 picture on the right there, where it says Market Fresh Catering Menu. That's applied on the exterior, the outside of that building. That's considered a first surface application. What a second surface application would be is kind of like if you took the IJ61, the clear, and you mounted it on the inside with a, say, like a reverse print, so that it's mounted on the inside, but when you're standing outside, you still read the same graphic. And in those cases, a lot of times you need to back it up with white ink to give it that opacity.
Great questions. Any other on Windows?
Let me just check the chat really quick. Now, I believe that's everything.
All right. Okay, so with floor graphics, the design, look at that picture on the right. You'll see that design has some rounded corners. That is always recommended for floor graphics. You don't want sharp corners because those are easily, snagged with your shoe and things like that. So floor graphics are very effective means of communication. So more and more retail facilities, healthcare, a lot of different types of companies are using floor graphics to convey messages. And there are studies showing that it really does help increase sales by utilizing floor graphics. So we have some great solutions for that. 40C-10R is a good basic film recommendation that we use for interior floor graphics. There are a couple of different overlaminates that we pair with that. 8509 is a 3mm floor graphic overlam, and 3645 is an 8mm. The 8509 has a luster appearance. The 3645 has more of a textured appearance. Both of these are UL rated for floors. So those are both great floor rated solutions. And we have exterior floor graphics. 3647 is a super textured overlaminate with UL slip resistance and wet and dry conditions. And we pair that with our film 3662. So in both of those scenarios, indoor and exterior, we recommend laminating those to protect your ink on your graphic, and it's also going to make both of those solutions very cleanable. Here is the 3662. So this would be for an exterior floor graphic. You would have the unsealed sidewalk print on the 3662 film, and you're laminating it with a 3647 textured overlam. You can see that protects your ink on the 3662. Anything to add on that, Marc?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. These graphics here are proportionally correct. So you can see how thick this laminate actually is compared to the film itself. Something to note with the 3662 is that super thick adhesive, right? The way that this film works and the reason why it's the only solution for an exterior floor graphic where it's unsealed is those unsealed surfaces absorb moisture and then they expel it once it gets hot out again. So you need that thick adhesive to get 100% adhesive contact, and it'll once it fully cures, it's going to give you that watertight graphic. So if you want to jump back just one
Yep.
slide, this picture you see here was a project that was done in Nashville. It was 3662, 3647 on a city street, which is kind of even outside its suggested use. As you can see in the slide that we were just on, it's rated at 3 months. And something to understand with floor graphics is just the super, it's almost like walls, super variable in the sense of how much damage and impact they're going to get over time. So the thing to consider is, yes, we say 3 month expected performance life. That's a worst case scenario. Understand that that's also an unwarranted time frame. That's just saying this is how long we expect it to last. But talk with your 3M reps for a given application. They can give you a little bit better insight as to what you might be able to expect. But that's one comment I'd like to make is just engage with your 3M reps if you feel like you want to talk about longevity and stuff like that.
Definitely.
A question about the
Yep.
laminates. Let's see. You're referencing pressure applied laminates, not heat activated adhesives, right? So all of our laminates are cold laminated. You don't have to do heat lamination. Sometimes people will for different reasons. One thing I will say is if you are heat laminating, make sure that you're only using the bottom roller, because if you use a top roller laminator, what'll happen is you'll heat up the laminate and you won't heat up the base film. And so what that does is as it goes through the laminator, the force of that is going to stretch your laminate out, but not your film. So then once the film cools and you go to apply it to your sign or to your vehicle or something, that laminate's going to want to shrink to its original state again. And what's going to come along with it is your film. So you're going to have your edges coming up or you're going to have delamination. So cold laminate whenever possible. If you do have to do a heat laminate for some reason, if you feel like it helps build adhesive strength or something like that, use only the bottom roller.